Good morning, friends. I'm in a very tight space this morning. I'm standing in the little tiny greenhouse that we've got, which is absolutely chock-a-block full of plants. And I've come out this morning to start doing the major springtime cleanup, which is going to be a very long job because as the oil tank broke last year, it caused chaos in our garden and nothing really was done about clearing up. So we have to start doing it this spring instead. But I do have to say that however much mess this little greenhouse is in, it's still one of the happiest places I can be in the garden. Who would imagine that from this crusty pile of brown broken leaves will grow glorious agapanthus in the summer? And if you look around, there are lots of little nooks and crannies holding all my equipment. This is where all the seeds will start growing. These are all the cutting. One of the first jobs that I'm going to do this morning is to tie up this phormium, which has survived very well in the greenhouse, but is just taking up too much space now, so those leaves need to just be tied up to keep them out of the way. As you might guess, this phormium was a bargain at the end of last year, and that's why it's spending most of its time in the greenhouse rather than where it should be, in the middle of the garden. There we are, tied up. Not too tight, just to keep all the leaves out of the way. That will give me a little bit more space. Can you see how filthy the windows are? Covered in algae, but that's on the outside, and I'm afraid far too cold to go out and wash down windows this morning. I think we're heading into a cold snap, so everything that's done here will be done indoors, which is why I'm inside the greenhouse. All the dried leaves can come off these agapanthus now that they've dried right back. They do look a lot better, and it doesn't give a place for little bugs to hide in the winter. Dry as a crisp. Now this is what I call a nice Sunday morning, friends. In the greenhouse, with the radio, doing a little bit of snipping and tidying. It does make a difference when Classic FM is my companion. Now I've just come out to start cutting back some of the old vegetation because all the tete-a-tete daffodils are starting to come up. Look, they're pushing their little heads through there, but something I'm really pleased to see is this beautiful hellebore. Lovely colour. Look at that dark red. Isn't that beautiful? And even better than the new growth in this bed, you just swing around, look at these snowdrops and crocuses. All ready to burst out. As the sun comes round, I think all those crocuses will open. Now the next job I'm going to do today is to cover up the hemerocalis, the daylilies. As you can see, they're already really starting to shoot up. If I just come around here, you can also see that these that are starting to shoot up are being nibbled by the naughty little muntjac. So my very good friend Liz actually threw away quite a lot of these plant covers, which I am now going to put on top of them. And they're absolutely wonderful for keeping the deer off. And just take them off later on in the year when the protection isn't needed. This one actually very much needs dividing up, but for now it will just have to have some protection over it. There we go. Just pop that on. That'll stop the worst of the damage. When I'm not actually working hard in the garden, I'm sitting inside the conservatory, I do at least have this to look at. I think it's all rather pretty out here. This is my bargain bowl of tete-a-tete daffodils and little pixie iris. Aren't they nice? And as ever, the ubiquitous blue bowl. Right, friends, I think I've done my bit in the garden today. I've just cleared this path, but the edging is very tough. Lots of roots, and they need cutting back very carefully, and with a good deal of welly behind them, so Alec can do that. But the little brick path is cleaning up nicely. The crocuses and the snowdrops have kept me company and are looking absolutely lovely. But now it's time for lunch, so for today, goodbye.